Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. Well, we are back at it in FUHRERREICH, a mod for Hearts of Iron 4. I am the nation of Germany. It is the end of November of 1940, and boy, did things take a turn at the end of the last episode. I am now at war with armies totaling somewhere around 4 to 5 times my number. So it's going to be ugly, so I've got to fight a really smart war. Try to be defensive for as long as possible, hold on to territory, inflict casualties, exhaust the enemy, maybe get some allies. Meanwhile, rush as many units to the front as I possibly can, and we'll see what happens. So, as soon as I can deal with this little bit of Italian territory right here, I can move some of these units elsewhere. I also had to gobble up a couple of territories that somehow were held by the enemy here, which means now I've got this army that I can rush to the front against the Soviets. But for the most part, I plan on just fighting defensively and inflicting casualties. If I go trying to expand and take out the enemy by being aggressive, it's just too much territory to cover, and I can't possibly do it. So let's see what happens, and hopefully it goes okay. Well, this is helpful. The Dutch state wants to send 10 divisions as an expeditionary force to help us out. Yes, please. Absolutely, that's helpful. So we're finishing these guys off here. I've reorganized my army into 3 fronts. The French front, which of course is these units here, and I'm not advancing them yet, even though it doesn't appear that France has a very large force there, so maybe I want to do that. I'm also giving, I've got the Eastern Front over here. That is the front against the Soviets. I'm still getting them into position. And then the Italian front down here. I'm giving all of them orders to execute cautiously. So only if it seems like it really makes sense to go do I want them to do that. So it looks like we have a rather inferior enemy here. Of course, they're also fortified, so it just may not be the time to get that done. We do have some divisions that are ready to get into the field, so we're going to start rushing them into the field. And of course, I've got the, I guess it's these Dutch state divisions that I have. Excellent. Okay, cool. So we're going to start assigning them. I'll get them all assigned to various places. And then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so we're into December of 1940. I'm looking for a new national focus, and we're going to choose military support roles for German youth. This hurts my research time, but I'm actually researching a regular research that gives me a 5% bonus, so basically be a wash there. It's going to actually come out ahead for me. But this is going to improve my reinforcement rate and my max entrenchment, which I think are probably more important than research right now. So here's the situation. We're actually making some pretty good progress against the Soviets pushing through Romania. We're going to shorten up that front with the Soviet Union right there, make things a little easier. All of this depends on Poland staying out of this war, which I really hope they do, because otherwise I've got problems. I'm not doing anything on the French front. I'm just going to stay static there because they're fortified, and that would be ugly. It's kind of like what I'm dealing with against the Italians right now. But I'm starting to actually have some success against the Italians. It's just breaking through those initial fortifications. Once I do that, and I send a few more units here to help out, I should be able to push through into Italy a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Here's what the casualty situation looks like. I've lost 316,000 to his almost 700,000. So right now, 2 to 1 on the casualties, which I've got to do at least that well to have any chance here, because you know the numbers are just not in my favor. And I've got to try and pump out some more divisions. I'm working on doing that as quickly as I can. It's really just a matter of producing the equipment, because I do still have about 500,000 in manpower, and I'm still at a volunteer army, so there's a lot I can do to improve my numbers when the time comes. I'm just not to that point yet where I've got to do that. So it appears things are not going quite so well for my allies, the Ottomans. Much like in World War I, they're just getting gobbled up by the Entente, mostly Italy in this case. So as things are going well for me, they're not going quite so well for others. So it looks like I'm finding some of my allies again here as I dig their countries out from Soviet oppression. And we continue to push forward on the Soviet front, going well there. I've created another army against the Italians, 10 more divisions in the field. That's going well. Looks like we're ready to get 3 more So I'm just rushing as many divisions into things as I possibly can. German advance reaches Venice. All right, very cool. We're going to add 3 more divisions to that German advance in Italy. So the places where I'm advancing, it's going well. Not doing anything here in France. I want to keep it that way as long as possible. I'll fight elsewhere. In the meantime, I have gone ahead and changed my conscription laws for the first time. So now I've got limited conscription. We also have the military support roles for German youth, which is going to get my reinforcement rate going a little faster. There's really not a lot else I'm able to do right now. I guess we'll do this here, autonomous workers collectives. So we're pushing through in Italy slowly but surely. Let's look at the overall situation. 468,000 lost for me, almost 1 million for the enemy. The problem is, of course, that his manpower is staying steady. So even though I'm inflicting massive casualties, it's not really bringing down the number of his army any. At some point, some of these countries are going to be exhausted in manpower, but it's going to be a long time, especially the Soviets. I mean, they've lost 367,000. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And I may exhaust my manpower before they do, but it's still staying pretty steady at about 2 to 1, the casualty rate. Of course, hopefully I'll take Italy out of this war altogether sooner rather than later. I think once I push to a certain point against the Soviets, I'll kind of slow that down. Okay, so we're about to overrun the capital of the Socialist Republic of Hungary, which I believe will cease to exist as a nation at that point. I've also got to do another national focus. I really just don't have anything good at this point. I guess we'll absorb the private sectors, which, I mean, it's not really helping me with anything right now, but we're about to overrun the capital of the Socialist Republic of Hungary. That'll take them out of the war. Things are still going slowly in Italy, but that's intentional. All of my armies are going slowly on purpose. That's just kind of the way I'm planning things to go right now. Let's take a look at the situation. 638,000 lost on my side. My fielded manpower, though, is pushing toward 2 million because I'm getting more and more divisions into the field, whereas his fielded manpower is staying fairly static. So I'm closing that gap as I continue to inflict losses on him and continue to rush my own divisions into the field. I've just got to keep an eye on that manpower, which is staying right around 500,000. If it starts getting too low, I'll have to change my conscription laws yet again, which I really don't want to have to do that any sooner than absolutely necessary. If I can take Italy out of the war, I'll feel pretty good. Wow, they've actually pushed back a little bit over here, so I'm going to deal with that, see if I can shift some things around and make something happen there. Okay, so as the fight continues, I have pretty much maxed out on army experience, and so I'm going to go ahead and start creating some variants of these tanks. So that the new ones that are getting into the field are going to be better than what I currently have. See if I can just give myself any edge at all on the in the battlefield. So let's go ahead and we're just going to kind of up everything here as much as possible. It's going to cost 325 experience to get these Panzer IIAs, but they're going to be a lot better than what I currently have. So we'll start producing those in as massive a quantity as I can. I'll get about 15 of them a day. And then I'm going to do the same with air experience. So let's take a look at those for just a second here. We're still on fighter ones. I really need to upgrade my fighters overall, but in the meantime, we'll just upgrade these a little bit. I don't know that I necessarily need better range at the moment. Mostly just work on max speed and air attack. Reliability is going to take a hit, though. So we'll go there. How much air? Oh, I've got 465. I've got plenty. So we'll just do this. I don't want to go too much just because at some point I need to actually upgrade the fighters themselves. We'll do the same with close air support, even though I'm really not producing much of either at the moment. Maybe what I need to do is reduce some of the other things I'm producing so I can get a lot more of these fighters in the air, because I'm not winning the battle for air superiority everywhere right now. Alright, so we'll do that. We'll see if that helps. And we'll keep things going. I've got to push through. I know the Soviets... Oh boy. All right, had a little glitch with Steam did something there, so thankfully the game didn't crash. Absorb private sectors is done, so let's take a look here. There's really just not a lot at this point that I can do that's of any great value to me. Anti-collectivist propaganda, I guess, since they're already at war with me anyway, ain't going to hurt anything to go ahead and do that. Alright, can we get any new divisions in the field? Not at the moment. I probably should be producing some of these mountain divisions. That might be helpful, especially against the Italians. So we'll get a couple of those queued up as well. At the moment, not a lot happening there. Things have kind of slowed down everywhere along the fronts at the moment. I've finished up my air. Yeah, here's where I've got to work on some new things. Got to get the next fighters going. Armenia declared war on Kurdistan. That's neither here nor there. Looks like the Ottomans have kind of stabilized things a little bit over there, but that doesn't really do a lot either way. Things have slowed down against the Italians. Let's look at the situation. All right, so I've pushing 1 million losses now. Most of that is mine, but the Swedes have lost quite a few as well. He's actually closed the gap a little bit, but the fielded manpower has gone down for him as well. So mine's still pushing up toward 2 million. But man, yeah, this is suddenly not going real well against the Soviets over here. So I might just need to slow things down a little bit. All right, it's May 1941. I was able to just rush basically an entire new army is going to get rushed into the field here. And we're going to put them on the Eastern Front because things are starting to seem like they may be going against me there. So let's get them going. I think I also have some mountain divisions somewhere here. Yeah. So we're going to rush all of them to the Eastern Front. And I'm going to, let's see, basically issue all new orders here because it seems like he's starting to break out against me a little bit. So let's rush these guys down there. We'll draw an offensive line. Basically just want to try and push back and take Hungary out of this thing. So we'll see if that's possible. I'm not sure if it is. But let's take a look here. National focus again. Not a lot to do. Okay. So, losses for me now, 1.16 million. Fielded manpower almost at 2. His fielded manpower still right around 6 million. And losses at 1.75. So, I just, most of the casualties are Soviet. And he can take millions of losses and keep on fielding people. So, that doesn't really help me. I've got to take somebody out of this war. I'm really just not sure where to go with that. Let's see what's happening with Sweden up here. Sweden's really just not doing much except kind of just containing a little Georgian invasion right there. What I need them to do is push down into the Soviet Union. And I just can't find anybody with whom I can kind of get a advantage to where I can maybe get them on my side. Because I can't really build up my party anywhere. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Well, this is interesting. May 22nd, 1941, and the U.S. has declared war on the Philippines. I'm getting super low on manpower now. I'm down to about 143,000. And that number's going down quickly, and I think that a lot of that has to do with how quickly I am rushing reinforcements into the field now. I think we are about at the place where we have to consider further changes to conscription laws. So we're going to go to extensive conscription. But I just don't have the manpower long term to keep up with the likes of the Soviet Union. Really wish I could get the Swedes to open up a second front against the Soviets. That would really be helpful. So we've kind of slowed things down right here at the moment on the Eastern Front. I think it's time to go ahead and relaunch those attacks and push back. I was just kind of having to spread out a little bit because he pushed into some of this territory over here, and he's taking it all back. So now I've got to kind of retake that once again. So I'm up over 2 million in fielded manpower, but I'm just about out of manpower available to me. Oh, there we go. We're jumping back up. Hellenic Republic declared war on the Bulgarian Socialist Republic. So I would guess that should mean basically that Greece is on my side in this war, no? Because Bulgaria is socialist. It would appear not. My problem here is that the losses have kind of gotten a little closer together. I was running at a pretty much a 50% of his total. That has considerably changed. And I'm getting up near 1 million casualties. Alright, so we've gotten create state-controlled unions. That helps with my product efficiency retention. I guess we can go here now to ban leftist literature. Again, none of this is particularly helping me a whole lot. I might need to consider just looking at things that are down at the bottom. Yeah, I guess that we don't even have that either. So, all right, we'll just proceed here. Oh, the Brits want to send 2 divisions to help out. I would really love it if they would just join the war altogether, but that's not really something that's going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and get another army created here for the Eastern Front. Let's take a look at the situation as we get into the end of June now. He's been pushing back. I'm pushing into Italy, but I'm losing the push against the Soviets right now. He's just got too many men. 1.59 million losses on my side, 2 million fielded manpower. He's still got about 3 times the number of men that I have, and the number of losses are approaching 2 million for him now. French Republic, Italy have about 300,000 apiece. Soviets are at about 1 million, and all their satellite states as well. Okay, so the continuous focuses are actually at the top on this one and not the bottom. So I think I'm not really sure where I'm going to go. I guess we probably won't do that quite yet. Let's go ahead and start working on improving our military a little faster, I guess. I'm starting to really lose it here on the front with the Soviets. I've got to push back somehow. I'm starting to be able to push back a little bit, but I'm going to run out of manpower before he does. But maybe if I can take the Hungarians out of the war, I'll be okay. Because it looks like we're having a little more success over here on my left flank than I am over here in the center. Pushing down into Italy pretty well. Now, what do we got here? 5 more divisions coming from the Dutch state. We'll put a couple of those on with the front with the French for now, I think, and then the rest can go to the Eastern Front. So at current, I'm at, let's see, 178, 230 divisions. 220 divisions, I guess. Alright, so here's some good news. I'm pushing forward. He must have abandoned this left flank. I'm pushing forward on my left flank. Hopefully I can tank Hungary out. It looks like I might even surround some of these Soviet divisions. So it seems like things have maybe taken a turn for the better there. Maybe the Hungarians ran out of the Hungarians and the Ukrainians ran out of manpower. Okay, losses are almost at 2 million for me. Fielded manpower 2.13 million. Fielded manpower for him still static, right around 6.5 million. Losses about the same. Losses have almost evened out now, which is definitely not good news for me. But this is, especially if I can surround and destroy some of these divisions. Alright, so one of the last things I'm going to do for this episode, because I think we're getting up to a decent amount of time here, is I've got a ton of experience in the Army and the air again. So once again, I think we're going to go ahead and look at the possibilities for upgrading things here. I think I'm actually working on fighter research right now. I am. So I'm gonna hold off on the fighter research until these new fighters are done. Once those are done, I'm gonna immediately produce an upgraded version of those. In the meantime, though, I can upgrade my tanks if I click on the right thing. There we go. So we're gonna look at these Panzer IIAs, and we're gonna upgrade those yet again with some of this extra experience that I've got. Alright, another 270 is going to improve the soft attack, the armor, the hard attack, the piercing, while keeping reliability at 100%. So that's the Panzer IIB. We'll start producing those. We need a bunch of them just to get back to full strength, and I need a lot of fighters at the moment too. The air war has not gone well for me. He's got by far the air superiority in his favor. Even if I shift all of these other ones over this way, he's just got way too many planes for me to effectively be able to handle. Alright, so we'll get to those new fighters being done. It looks like Bulgaria has been annexed by the Hellenic Republic. Wish I could get some allies on my side, but there's just absolutely nothing I can do to do that. However, the war is suddenly going really well in the Eastern Front, surprisingly. Alright, so I think I'll wrap it up right here. It is September of 1941. Things are not great right now. Things had started to look more in my favor in the Eastern Front, and suddenly now he's pushing back again. And now I've suddenly got an issue here where he's pushed out and he's pushing up against my Italian front. And I've got this really narrow situation that I've got to deal with. So I'm going to kind of think about that a little bit before I press ahead. So I'm going to wrap up right here. I'd love to know your thoughts. My first time playing FUHRERREICH, and I've obviously bitten off more than I can chew, but ended up in war with a whole lot more people than I wanted to be. So use the comment section below for your thoughts. Please hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're interested in being part of the multiplayer FUHRERREICH, please head over to the Discord server and let me know what dates and times work for you. You can look on the Hearts of Iron 4 multiplayer channel for that. We're going to start that soon. As soon as we figure out a date and time, we'll let people start picking the countries they want to be, and we'll get it going. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again next time.